Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing into part 4 of What If Piccolo Was Never Born. If you haven't seen part 3, there is a title card where you can go check it out and see what happened in the last part, but today we'll be going into the continuation of Z. What is Kami planning with the Dragon Balls? Will the Saiyans be enough to stop Frieza? If not, how will they stop Frieza? All that will be answered in this part of What If Piccolo Was Never Born. Also, if y'all are interested, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give out some of your own ideas of what ifs, and maybe in the future I could do them. Check the link in the description down below. For today's question in the video comes from Freezing Blaze 3123, and their question is, which fusion would you like to see in the Dragon Ball overall? Any idea and fuses work. And honestly, a fusion I would like to see is either Dragon Ball Super Broly with Vegeta or Goku. I think more on Goku's side. I've seen some art, and honestly that's just my favorite thing. Goku and Broly, top 2 favorite characters from Dragon Ball, so honestly having a fusion with either Broly and Goku or Broly and Vegeta will be amazing. Plus they'd be very powerful. That would probably be the strongest fusion. I've seen some where it's like all 3 of them combined, but I'm not too sure how a 3-way fusion would work. I know there's a game where a bunch of people can fuse at once with the wristbands. I forgot what game it was called, but I'm more on like the non-game verse of Dragon Ball. So like either the fusion dance or the Potara fusion with Broly and either Goku or Vegeta. Thank you so much for your question. If you would like to be featured in my next video, just comment down below your question, whether it's about Dragon Ball, another anime, or personal, and maybe your comment will be picked for the next video. Without further ado, let's dive into part 4 of What If Piccolo Was Never Born. Back to where we left off, Frieza has just sent out some of his best men out to search for the people who just arrived on planet Namek. Meanwhile, Kami would be out searching for their Dragon Balls. With his newly acquired power boost, he would speed all across the planet, stopping at every village he can, warning them of the threat and acquiring the Dragon Ball of the village. Frieza would also pick up on Kami's power level. As his scouter would break, sensing someone this powerful, he would call on the Ginyu force earlier on so that they could deal with Kami as he would begin his search and looking for the Dragon Balls. Kyuubi, Zarbon, and Dodoria would arrive at the Z Fighters location and would spot Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, as they would tell them to surrender as they still think that they are weaker than them. But what they don't know is that Nappa alone could handle all 3 of them and would only need to use a bit of Kaioken to stop Zarbon if he were to transform. Vegeta and Nappa would have a grudge against the trio and would fight them alone, as Goku wouldn't mind it until he saw how they brutally ended the 3 of them without hesitation. Goku didn't like it, but just like how Vegeta killed some of the Ginyu Force in front of Goku in the canon timeline, Goku would just move on, as technically these guys weren't exactly good people. They would then decide to think of what their next move would be, but that is when they would sense Frieza's power level heading right towards them. Goku and Raditz were a bit nervous, but Vegeta and Nappa weren't. Vegeta believed that if they all fought him together, then it would be possible to beat him. With Kami, he would have collected the Dragon Balls and brought them all to Guru for safekeeping. Guru would then notify what had happened in the short time of him searching for the Dragon Balls, as Kami grew very worried. With the fact that Frieza called extra help and that he is heading towards his group, he knows they wouldn't last long against Frieza. Guru would tell Kami that he should use the Dragon Balls for his plan right now, as he doesn't know how much longer he has left, but he also has an idea that may up their chances to beat Frieza. Kami would then quickly use the Dragon Balls to summon Porunga to state his wishes. He would get into contact with King Kai to ask permission if the Earthlings would be okay to be wished to Namek, as how dire things quickly got. Being caught up to speed, they would accept to be transported to Namek as they would appear in front of Guru. Then Kami would ask Guru to make the wish that all the Namekians to be transported to Earth for safety, which he would do, as every Namekian would be teleported off-world besides Guru and Nail. Kami would then finally ask for a bag of sensu beans, which would appear right on his hand, and with that being the 3rd wish, Porunga would disappear and the Dragon Balls would fly away from each other. To everyone on the planet, excluding Goku, the sky being dark was a bit confusing to them, but they didn't have a clue that it was Kami using the Dragon Balls. Kami would turn around to see Guru and Nail still on the planet, as he asked why they are still here and didn't leave with the rest of the Namekians. As Guru explained what he has planned, as he told Kami about the forbidden technique of Namekian fusion, and if they want to be able to stop Frieza, then they must do the unthinkable. Guru would explain to Kami to place his hand on his, as then suddenly a bright light appeared, blinding everyone, and when the light faded away, only Kami remained, as the others asked what had happened to Guru. as Nail would walk to Kami and kneel before him, still calling him the Grand Elder. Kami's power increased immensely, reaching to a power level of 1.5 million, as everyone on the planet that can sense energy can feel the instant appearance of a huge power level, as the scouters would pick it up but instantly explode as the energy was far too high to scan. Kami would be amazed of the power he feels, as he hears a voice in his head. It was Grand Elder Guru, explaining to him that he had fused to become one much stronger Namekian. Kami thanked Guru for this, as now they may have a chance at stopping Frieza. But before he left, Guru told Kami that with being fused with him, he now has the abilities he had, as he explained to Kami to unlock the hidden potential of his friends from Earth to increase their strength as well. Kami would go to place his hand on the Earthling's head to awaken their hidden potential. Now, this is all based on a research I found, and hopefully it's not incorrect, but it is stated that Krillin's power level at the start of the Namek saga was 1800, and once he got his potential unlocked, it went to 1300, which is a 7.2 times multiplier, but he continued growing throughout the saga, and at the end of the saga, he was at a power level of 75,000. Now, Krillin isn't a Saiyan, so he doesn't get Zenkai boost, so most people believe that he kept growing stronger when his potential was unleashed, so we will keep that in mind. So from that 13,000 power level, the multiplier he got at the end was a 5.7 multiplier. Now these numbers of each human's potential would be different, as I believe each of them would have more potential than the others. So here are their power levels. Krillin would go from 45,000 to 324,000, keeping the same multiplier, and by the end of the saga, he would be at a power level of 1.8 million. Tien will go from a power level of 30,000 to 240,000, giving him an 8 times boost when he gets his potential unlocked, as I believe he would have more potential than Krillin, and by the end of the saga, he would be at a power level of 1.44 million, which giving him a 6 times boost, which is more than Krillin. For Yamcha, he will go from a power level of 30,000 to 246,000, giving him a 8.2 multiplier, as this Yamcha is much more focused on his training due to having a family he cares for, and I would say that the motivation to protect them gives him a slightly higher boost than Tien, and by the end of the saga, his power level would be at 1.52 million, giving him a multiplier of 6.2. Nail wouldn't be able to get his potential unlocked, as I believe that he would have his potential unlocked already when he first began his duties of protecting Guru. Nail decided that it would be best if Kami fused with him, as well as currently he wouldn't be much of use since he isn't that strong. But with the Namekian fusion, Kami could pose a threat to Frieza. Guru didn't like the idea much, but he didn't argue, as Nail was right. It pains Kami to do this, but he placed his hand on Nail, fusing with him, increasing his power even more, reaching to a peak of 3 million. The Saiyans could sense the huge increase in power, as they were shocked, but Goku would be glad to see that it is Kami who he senses with that immense power level. Kami and the Earthlings wouldn't waste no time heading to the Saiyans to aid them in facing Frieza. However, that is when everyone would spot 5 space pods landing on Namek, as the Saiyans would know exactly who arrived on the planet. They wouldn't be too afraid, as even though they aren't strong enough to stop the Ginyu Force, they know that the others are far more powerful to stop them easily. But just as they didn't have to worry much about the Ginyu Force, that is when Frieza would land in front of them, and he is very angry. Vegeta would want to face Frieza alone, but he is nowhere near strong enough to fight him alone, even at his first form, and to even stand a chance. So he will have to fight with everyone together, as that is the only way they could even manage to survive until backup arrive. Kami and the others would sense the arrival of possible new threats, so he would send Yamcha and Tien to go deal with them, telling them that if they are enemies, don't waste any time and should just finish them off, because Frieza is the real threat. Without another word, the 2 Earthlings quickly flew off to the location of the Ginyu Force. Assuming the new arrivals of those Saiyan pods have scouters, the 2 would suppress their power levels just to have the upper hand. Arriving on Frieza's ship, they would see a bunch of Frieza's soldiers, as they would try to shoot at the Earthlings, but they would quickly dodge the attacks and take out a lot of the henchmen down very easily until the Ginyu Force made their presence known to Tien and Yamcha. Seeing their poses, they laughed at the Ginyu Force, seeing them as ridiculous. They took this as an insult greatly and prepared to fight them off using rock paper scissors as usual to see who fights first. They would tempt the Ginyu Force to fight all at once, telling them that if they fight one-on-one, they are bound to lose. This really ticked off all 5 of them, as everyone but Captain Ginyu rushed at Yamcha and Tien, and honestly, it would be pretty brutal. Tien and Yamcha, with what they have experienced in the past with King Piccolo, they will not hesitate to end any threat swiftly when the situation is dire. Knowing that they need to put their actual focus on Frieza, they did not waste any time with the Ginyu Force. Tien would end Goldo and Raccoon with a swift punch, each as Yamcha would take down Burter and Jace at the same time, as even his speed farly surpasses that of the fastest in the universe. As Yamcha laughed at the self-given title, Ginyu was completely dumbfounded by how fast his team was just eliminated. Without any other options, he would pretend to surrender to catch them off guard so that he could use his changed body technique to get one of them, but they were not going to take any chances as they swiftly took him out without Ginyu even getting the chance to use his changed body technique. Once they swiftly ended the Ginyu Force, they would quickly head over to the others in preparation of facing Frieza, all together in hopes that they may stand a chance against him. However, it is looking grim for the Saiyans as they all try together to attack Frieza, but even with the Kaioken, they still lack the strength to overpower him, and they also lack any teamwork skills as they never really truly fought together before, besides Goku and Raditz having little experiences together because of their year plus in training. Kami is still trying to head over to the location as he could sense the battle that is taking place, but he is worried that he may not make it there in time to save his friends. And that's where we're going to leave it off for now. Tell me how y'all think about the fourth part and how I did with the continuation of this What If. Will Kami arrive to help the Saiyans in time? Could they hold off Frieza long enough for backup? Even if the whole group manages to get back together, could they stop this big of a threat known as Frieza? What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification part to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya.